Hey everybody, it's me. I'm not dead. I'm still alive. We got a little bit of delay on the company, so we kind of switched company. We had a bit of a problem on the first, second, third, and fourth company, so we didn't want to waste any more time. So we decided to find doing the research and find literally who literally designed those drive and those controller, and now we teamed up with them, and they doing a fantastic job. um, the number coming out, because they have an R&D, they can actually put all the way up to 250-pound torque or resistance on the drum itself. And so far we blew that past that, and the RPM right now they have it turning at 5500. Could go way higher, but what we're having right now, we're happy with 5500. So for now, they're doing the tests. How long you've been running now with the load on it, 24/7 for the last almost 3 weeks, to make sure the controller doesn't have any part or heats up more than another, but we should be running literally cold, because I asked the controller to be built for a peak of 10 amps and a full run at 24/7 at 8 amps. And so far we have this thing turning under load in China for a few weeks now, and is barely using any amp. They said under load is just slightly under 3 amp under load, and they're turning. They don't know how much they're turning in it, because their dyno, the maximum of the dyno for testing their motor is 250 foot-pound torque on a shaft. So we're way above that horsepower, and it's crazy. I mean, so I'm not going to say a whole lot of numbers. The numbers they're just mind-blowing. We hear. So they said they will finish the testing. Right now they're doing is they're readjusting the frequency per 100 RPM. So your parameter, you'll be able to adjust for each 100 RPM on your parameter. When you're doing your own programming, if you want, this controller totally fully programming. It's all open source. We're going to put everything open source, so people can play with the computer. They can go and fetch on the website. They can fetch the software. So I mean, it's. But then again, right? You don't know what you're doing. You try to reprogram that, and you fry your controller. That's up to you, not me. It will become pre-programmed for multiple use. And then the best thing to do is, when you order the controller, the function you want to do is very important for us, so we can tell you if the controller would be matching, or you have to reprogram it to be matched. So at that point in time, we're just doing all our best to get this thing as fast as possible. But if you're not in China, there beside those people, you don't know if they're lying to you or not. And now we find out a company they tell us right away. He said there's nobody can build those controllers. He said they don't have the chip. You take a special chip to build this controller, and we have access to it. So I mean, then you can program that chip the way you want, and it will do whatever you want. It's an open chip. You can reprogram, and so that's working very well. So I'm just crossing my finger. They said they should be finished testing by the end of this week, and they will package it, and then they're supposed to send me my prototype so I can test it, which is great, because I got many sites I can test right now. I'm installing. I just received that one 9 days late for the delivery by UPS, and I finally received it, and that was from the States, not from China. It was shipping from the States, and it took 9 days delivery delay for bullshit, lies, and garbage. So that's UPS. Many problems. I received a brand new, we got custom built a brand new power supply, because remember I blow my power supply, so I got an order one, a monster one, 10 amp, with totally adjustable. From the factory, they dropped it before they was packaged, because the package didn't have any damage on it, and I still have the packing, and so the packing is not damaged. And the inside, when they must have dropped it when they were trying to package or whatever, and they didn't tie up the transformer properly. It was 3 transformer, they got loose, and then start bashing everything and ripping wire all over the place. So that one is out of question. So that was a waste of almost 20 days for that thing. So, but they just, I just heard today, they sent me a brand new one. We're also going to be receiving our new prototype USB. So you know USB, if you plug in 120 volt, that's where it's supplied. Well, our USB, you put 120 volt into it, it produces 500 volt at 10 amp at the output. So our USB is alternative input 120, 500 volt output DC at 10 amps. So that way we don't have to have a power supply, and the USB is all built up in one, and it's fairly small. So we're going to have, by the end of August, we should have all our eggs ready to roll. So that's what I'm shooting, is by the end of August. If you get before the end of August, I'll be very surprised. I just want to take my time when we receive that, do all the tests, and then we can do and order. Right now the company, they're capable all the way up to 15,000 a month. But if the demand is there, they can crank it up to 90,000 a month. So that's pieces, and that's just for the controller. Then the other companies for the UPS, you know, and the power supply, they'll be joined together to do a joined together venture, and so that's why I can't wait to get it. It's supposed to be fairly small. It's fairly compact. Like I said, this one, this is the drum. This is a 7-inch drum, 6-inch stator, 1.5 inch thick, and this is a flywheel for an inverter. And since I've been playing with that flywheel for the inverter with my new 6-inch, and I'm getting so much power with so little draws, you can't stop it. I believe that that controller I was using, I could make that thing turn 20,000 RPM. I stopped at 11,000 because I was getting a little worried myself at 11,000. I mean, the bearing they were just screaming out of there. But this one here, I believe I can turn my same controller I got for temporary before we got the other one. I might be able to turn that one at, you know, at probably around about 4,300 RPM, which is plenty for my 10 kV. So I'm going to give that tomorrow to the machinist, so I can have the adapter to bolt into, and I'm putting the 7-inch 7.5 inch flywheel, or a drum, and the hyperdrive, in other words. I'm putting down a 10 kW, and I'm pretty sure it will turn it with no problem, because I turned the 10 kW with my new 6 inches, and the way I turned it, and I produce 120 volt, and I put an 1800 watt load on a 10K. Before I was not watching my number, and I went over the 4 amp, and I burned my power supply. So that was a kind of piss off on that one. And I waited a lot of time to get another power supply, which didn't work because the inside was all bashed up. So I lost so much time on doing that. And but now I'm back into getting some parts and putting things together. Plus I had to go to work for just about a month, and then I kind of hurt myself a little bit in my shoulders. So I had to take some time off. But that's part of life. You know, you got to do stuff. But on the hyperdrive, nothing worked like this. The numbers come out from the R&D in China. What I heard from Maytag and what I experienced myself is out of this world. Now, I'm not too sure if it's the same thing than what Tesla was using. When he said when he was in court, if you take a 500 horse Westinghouse steam turbine and you turn my generator with it and you distribute that into the transformer, you modify it in the end of the transformer, add the motor on the motor part, like if you hook up electric motor into it. It was his calculation with his motor, which is he approved. 500 horse input, 1.5 million horse working motor at a working force on the other end of the line. So that was hard for me to believe, but knowing what's happening with those drives, because this is like the same principle of Tesla, is just reverse. So Tesla, the inside was spinning, and Tesla, the inside was not magnet. They were inducing coil, and they have no magnet on the outside, but it was large, so the rotor was fairly large, but very short, very narrow. And that's what he was getting all this power for very little amount of current. And then of course Westinghouse changed that because we were paying for watts, kilowatts, so they want you to use a lot of kilowatts so they can make money. So the design of those, because this is what I'm using, it's a three-phase sine wave generator. That's what an inverter is. Three-phase sine wave generator. It doesn't produce electricity. It produces sine wave, and then that sine wave is converted to you call electricity at 120 volt or 240. But what comes out of those stator is just a sine wave. Very, very hot, very, very high, lots of potential, but that all have to be converted into electricity. And in the controller, same thing. We're putting either DC into it, solid DC, and what comes out of the controller is not electricity. Everybody call it electricity because they call it a volt, but volt only give you, it's a volume of volume. I mean, like volt is like, here's a 6 ounce glass. They said this, for each ounce is a volt. It's just a volume. It's just a calculation of volume. It means nothing else but volume and pressure. So when you have a sine wave, you have to be able to have the number up so you have the pressure. Now you can take that and compress it and chop it after that. So we do, that's exactly how they work out, right? It's a compressed volt, a high volt, compress it, and then you chop it. And you get what your transmission line says. Transmission, it's an RF, but it doesn't have a message. It just have on-off message on it. It doesn't have any data beside on-off. And that's why when the pole transformer receive this on-off signal, he's converting that to AC, perfectly sine wave, AC at 60 Hertz, because the chop is at 60 Hertz, and that chop now will be transferred into a sine wave instead of being on off like an impulse. A lot of people they ask me if I can help them personally on the computer to build something. I do not have that. I do not have the time. All the information is more likely into all my video. I have more than one video. For anybody who doesn't know, I got 50 plus video. And I know it's hard to find because YouTube has been screwing up with all my channel so bad. Sometimes I get in my own gallery and more likely 50 to 60% is not my video, is somebody else's video. So that's why people have problems to find my stuff, because I can't even find myself sometimes. And I get frustrated and I just gave up on my own stuff. But it's all on the video. Just have to have the patience, and then when we have something working, I will make a video how to put this thing together with a 10K. Now, it's very simple. A video, when you don't understand, you play it, you stop it, you study it, you back it up, you play it again, listen to what I'm saying, and you will have no problem to put them together. And if you cannot put together, I'm pretty sure you will have someone in the neighborhood who will be able to pull it together, to pull your kit together. Because I will not sell a complete unit. I will sell all the compartment. I will Actually, I'm selling only the controllers and the stuff I'm getting custom built. The generator, I ain't selling that. That's going to be the website. You're going to be dealing directly with the factory. We arrange the factory for the shipping and all that stuff, but that's all we're doing with that. Um, Beside that, oh, and there's a lot of people, you know, they were getting worried about me getting killed and stuff like that, so I was dead and all that. Apparently I had a funeral. Some guy at 54 died. Well, I'm 61, so it was not me. So, you know, it's lots of Morin out there, Gerard Morin, so I think it's like just in BC, like close to about 2,000 of them. So I can believe in the rest of the world should be plenty. But anyway, so that gave you an idea what we're going. I'm not dead. I didn't stop. I've been working on that constantly. When I don't have that to work, I work on another project which is related to that. But now I got 2 generators ready to rock and roll, a 4K and a 10K. And then I'm working on another one which is a smaller generator for the camping, which I'm going to use my 6-inch, which my 6-inch is 10 times overkill, but it looks cute on it. It will be the same size and it will be perfect, you know, when it comes to that. And when it comes down to what to use, let's say if you don't, you know, I'm going to give you all kinds of tricks how to use different parts. You know, you can, you know, if you mechanically apply, you'll be able to pick up pieces from there. So the only thing you're going to need is literally the power supply, the UPS with the power supply in it. So you can do a loop with it on a generator, and you can buy all your stuff, you know, online if you want to. You know, it will be more expensive because those guys they're not cheap. This little thing here is by the time you ship in here and all that and pay the duty and the tax is like almost $600 Canadian. So maybe a little bit more. So that's not cheap compared to our hard drive by the time. Or her hyperdrive, by the time they're coming up from China, they will be probably maybe $100–150 at the most. So that's a difference, because they're made in Japan, but they're selling parts here in the United States, and that's the difference. I mean, if I would buy those things directly from the Japanese company, I would probably pay maybe $50 for the pair plus shipping. So that's the difference. But at least you're not stuck. You know, you might have to pay a few bucks to somebody else to get that part, but you'll be able to find parts. You know, instead of being stuck waiting for one thing, you might be able to fetch another part from somebody else. All you need is you can use a sine wave generator, and you don't have to change the magnet. You can reuse it the way it is. If you want to change the magnet, then you know you have to have curved magnet to give the proper gap to replace those ones. They're fairly expensive, especially if you want to buy a dozen, you know, at a time. If you buy a couple of hundred at a time, then maybe you get paying fairly cheap. So, but this is going to be like something people can put that together. Some people, they want to buy a massive amount of pieces and create a perfect kit. And also you can I want this kit. I want a 10 kV. I want a 25 kV. I want a 50 kV. I want a 75 kV. They will have all that in kit, so you can buy them from them. And then they might have the people also, if you decided, those people might be, you're probably going to have some certified electrician. They can come and put it together and install it properly to your system, to your house, and it's done all properly because they're all certified electrician, right? So if they put a transfer switch in your line, it will be done properly. You will take a permit for it. Everybody will be just fine, so no one will be afraid of burning down or whatever, right? And yeah, so... And I got a lot of people, you know, I mean, I know everybody are in a rush, you know, I mean, like they're complaining because it's taking me so long. But, you know, when you realize what I discover, you know, and the amount of time I spend so far, you know, the 5.5 years I got so far into the system, you know, for what I discover is mind-blowing. Because people don't have a clue when they're talking about electricity what it is, period. Electron moving twice the speed of light or at the speed of light, this is the bogusest thing is possible. This is not happening. The way the magnet, you know, the reaction to the magnet work around the magnet, whatever this says, it start including all the idiot and on YouTube. It doesn't work that way. But what I want you to do, if you think it worked that way, I want you to keep on doing your research and be thinking you're chasing a flying electron at the speed of light, because you'll never in your lifetime figure anything out. Which is good for me, because then I don't have to worry about, oh, look at that, and then everybody, good for me. I don't have no problem, but the electrons do not move. They move. I mean, you have electron stuck to the dust in the air, you know, because it's so small. But they're not traveling at the speed people are saying, especially when they create mass. I mean, electrons create mass, create iron, create copper, create this, create that, create wood. Different type of electrons. And they don't come in pair, they're single, because they create a mass. They're just like a huge amount of small magnet, and you stick them together to create a mass. Or you take one magnet and you keep throwing iron in it, because an iron electron magnet, it'll attract iron electrons, and that's where they stick to the magnet, and the magnet gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, but this is the whole thing, that everybody who's tried to figure out how things work, and then they don't understand when I speak, when I say pure resonance have no sine wave. Resonance is the one cause other material to create sine wave. Like a cymbal, right? You know, when you're sitting on a cymbal and you hit that cymbal with a stick at the drummer, right? You hit that cymbal. The stick is the one who create the resonance, because you just hit a couple of millions of brass electrons, and you hit that. And those electrons, they're screaming, and suddenly all the electrons of that cymbal sympathize with them. Because there's no moving motion there. It just sympathizes, they're screaming. But the resonance from inside that brass cannot get out of that brass without creating a sine wave. To release the pressure, it releases a sine wave. And that's what you hear, right? That's the sine wave we hear. When you hit that, right? Well, that's how a sine wave is manufactured. Same thing with the guitar. Same thing with the violin, the piano, or whatever. We cannot hear pure resonance. It has to be in the form of sine wave, with a regular sine wave, like sine wave generator, or square wave. All our electronic music is consumed at square wave. Everything of them. Every single note, every single sound. Modification, amplification is all done on square wave. So this is run on square wave. We're not doing that on square wave, because we're not pushing electricity or DC into it on that form. We're pushing that on because the frequency is high. We became in a communication, RF, communication signal. It's not electricity anymore. It's not power anymore, not the power you think you know. It's hundreds of times more powerful than what you think you have. Right? It's very simple. Look the size of one power plant and look how many people it supply and how many industry it supply and how much power you're selling out from that grid. And look at the size of the power plant. Because it's not electricity they're manufacturing, it's sine wave. High frequency sine wave. But anyway, that's what I'm working with. That's what my hyperdrive is so bloody powerful. And just, I can't wait so you guys can see some number, and then for all the idiot over there, they keep yapping their chap at my YouTube channel. I mean, hey, you're gonna have to eat some dirt sometime, or eat their own words sometime. So it's coming. The time is very soon, because just with the number I got, just with the number I had in my 6 inches, it killed all those morons out there, because they don't have a clue they don't even have a clue what a regular electric motor is, and they try to explain something they never heard of it, right? And they try to bullshit you. This thing I have 4 straight here with that motor, 4 straight here are working with that drum motor. I know a lot about that drum motor, what it's capable of doing. And the biggest problem was how to make it work properly. That's why all the controller we have, the Einstein and all that stuff, they don't have that chip. They cannot, the calculation have to be so fast. Because everybody thinks, oh yeah, I can get something turning. But you have to understand, inside those magnets, inside that drum has got those magnets. When you spin that, at let's say 1,000 RPM, well, the north and south on each magnet, and it's not in the center of the magnet anymore. It's slightly behind because it drags. So now your timing is totally off. So what happens if your timing is totally off on your car? It doesn't run really good, right? So that's why we have a problem with with all the other controller. We had a limited RPM because they cannot follow the motion of the magnetic reaction of the magnet, because it's just like jello. It's affected by gyro force. And if you don't believe me, magnetize a screwdriver, right? And then you want to see how to demagnetize, you hit it against something hard in the middle of the shaft, and all the magnetism is gone. Because it was just inducing within a magnet. But that's how you can, that's what the magnet reaction, right? I don't call it a magnetic field, it's a reaction. So it's a what we call the attraction and counter reaction or retraction. That's all a magnet is. It's no field moving around and stuff like that. It's all those electrons flowing, flowing. It does nothing flow. It's just a reaction is an effect, right? And it have to be calculated with that chip. And oh, by the way, my controller have no sensor. No bloody goddamn sensor. Period. We look at one controller and you had sensor and you have to work with sensor, a certain type of sensor, hard to get, screw that. All my controllers no sensor. And that's a company who actually built control with sensor, and they said the same thing. Sensor is not really needed. And I know it's not needed because in your new car, when something goes wrong in your new car, well, guess what it is? It's a sensor. I don't want to put sensor in here. A sensor is a sensor. Something is going to screw it up, sooner or later. And I don't want that to happen. So anyway, that's going to go to the machinist because I don't think I can pop those rivets out. So, so we'll find out how things going with that, and it's probably going to take about 3 or 4 days before I get that, so I can try it. And but I have very high confidence. What I have right now on hand, I can spin that big guy, my 10K with that, and put full, because my 10K is EDM. That means I can run about 65 amp out of that constantly. So but I can peak it for an hour at EDM, which I'm going to do because I want to see if this guy can do it. If this guy can do it, then we all know the possibility of those drive. Right now, I know the possibility of those drive with all the numbers and the videos I see from the factories. Another thing at the factories, when they said that if the frequency with the RPM, it's all perfectly tuned in. The motor at 5,500 RPM is totally silent. Not a peep coming out of it. So we'll find out. And the controller I'm getting, the one I'm getting, is got a panel with the controller. So I can adjust and I can see where my frequency is at, where my timing is at, what's my volt at, what's my current is at, and what's my RPM is. And I can adjust all that. So it will be interesting when I make the next video with the controller. That's going to be interesting. It will be a fairly long video to do a good explanation of how things kind of works, and and you will be able to see it under load. Because what I'm going to do is literally pull my dryer plug out of it, and I'm going to get myself an extension, and I'm just going to connect my whole house on it and see if I can run my whole house and how much can I push this thing. and we'll find out. Now I will have the house disconnected. I'll click that off and put a lock on it so I cannot put the main breaker back on. So that's when I have no power. And if you guys see all my lights and all my stuff working, obviously my power is coming up from a source. And hopefully you'll be smart enough to figure out I got a thing plugged into my dryer plug, so I'm reversing into the breaker panel. So we'll find out. We'll just go what we go, and then you know, it's just a question now. I say about 30 days. I say a month. So that's all we can do. I mean, it would probably go 10 times faster if I was in China, but I'm not there, so it takes 10 times longer. And but that's about it. You know, it's I don't. I have no back. But that's why I feel pretty good about all the tests that's been done. I mean, like, you know, I stopped researching in the computer for about a month and a half. I don't even look of any other thing because, as far as I'm concerned, it's all 40 years old. I mean, it's just old stuff regurgitated over and over and over. So I don't even bother to look at anybody. Someone keeps sending me some website and stuff. I look at it. I see that 10 years ago. So it doesn't do anything, because guess what? You hear about stuff like this. Do you see any motion? KEG. Where are they? Where's the system? Where's their powering houses? Right? The other guy, Jim Murray and Bobcat there. Where's the system? Oh. Kashi, where are you? Shit. Everybody, where are you? What all your goddamn system? Where the hell are you? Right? Canadian Tire's not selling any of your system. Where the hell are you? Right? So I think we're going to be very surprised from the time we put something out, how fast all the other name you hear and stuff like this, and all the promise and whatever, what they're going to do when that one's coming out. So very interesting. Perfect size right there, because this, as far as I'm concerned, is capable of pushing up over 200 horse. Now, 200 horse, this, if you look at an electric motor, 200 horse is the equivalent of roughly around about almost 1,000 horse diesel, because the variable of an electric motor, let's say for gas motor, I got a perfect example. I got a 3,800 pounds or 4,000 pounds pressure washer, right? An electric one, 120. And to turn that, you know, it takes exactly 11.5 horse motor, Honda, for that pump, because you can buy it. It's the same pump, a Viking. You know, it's from Portugal, I think, or Spain, and they all take 11.5 horse motor to turn. My 1.5 horse motor, electric motor, 120 volt, right? It's a 14 amp or 11, no, 12.4 amp, and that thing turned the 4,000 pound pressure washer pump. So this is what the conversion is, right? For the same pressure washer, you can turn with 1.5 horse motor or 11 horsepower gas. Now, if it was a blue diesel, you can probably run it for about maybe half of the power of the gas. A 5 horse would probably be plenty to turn that. But an electric motor is only a horse and a half, because electric motor have a lot of torque, but you have to put a lot of amp into it, but you get a lot of torque. So what happened is, the horsepower in electric is way more torquey, and the horsepower doesn't reflect the power that an electric motor can do. Now, those are not electric motor. They're hundreds of times more efficient. I mean, hundreds of times more powerful than an electric motor, because they don't run on electricity. They don't run on square wave DC. They run on high frequency. and a very, very high frequency, then you have communication. It turns automatically to communication. I mean, you don't have to go very far. I mean, you can start probably around about, well, look, your AM radio, 500 hertz, that's communication. 300 hertz is communication. You know, it goes airways. Because your channel is, the number is the hertz when you look at your channel. So if I go to a 96.5, right? Well, that's 960 hertz, 0.5. And that's why your channel keep on going up and up and up and up, and the length and the number is getting big. But that's just your hertz. Your frequency, when you're tuning the channel, your radio into the right channel, it's the right frequency you're tuning into. And that's not electricity. That's frequency. Now, we're not up yet to do a full resonance test on it, because a full resonance test, I have to go to China and then and talk to those engineers and then be able to come up with a full resonance output controller. When we reach that, I think I'm going to reach the multiplication of Tesla. 500 horse at the in, 1.5 at the out. So, but I'm not there yet, but I'm sure past everybody else when it comes to torque, RPM, horsepower, and especially the currents. No one can beat me in the currents. I have so many videos telling me that loose 6 inches I spin at 11,000 RPM. I know I think it was like an amp and a half or 2 amps when I was spinning it. Even if I was not loading it, he said that thing was producing over 20 horsepower already because of the weight and the displacement and the torque. So I mean, hey, we're just gonna play with it till we got it right, and then when we get it right, then people will be able to use it, because I sure will use it on my own. If I can get off the powers here, put it before the winter, I'm in the game. I'm at the head of the whole situation. And if I can do a quick slap on my vehicle, so I have a vehicle that doesn't cost me nothing to drive, I'm in the game again. You know, lawnmower. I was thinking, you know, a lawnmower, you need to lose 6 inches, a battery, an inverter, and a little controller, you know, and you get a lawnmower, even in the battery, would last you a full cut of your yard without recharging, plus, you know, and you would have tons of power on it, not like all those battery operated, and when you go into the grass, and they just want to die all the time. You say, my God, if I wish I would have my 8-horse lawnmower, right, so I can plow through that, because they don't have the capacity and they don't have the torque. They don't have the torque, then they start demanding amp. Those drive have the torque. They don't demand the amp because the power is made on the outside of that stator, not on the inside of the stator. And that's what is very important. But anyway, it's enough chatting. I'm in decent health. No bullet hole through the house. So, and I wouldn't worry too much. I'm going to die or not this year, so I don't think that's going to happen. They're too bloody busy with Trump right now, which I'm going to have to send him a thank you note, because he's keeping all those idiots, you know, busy and chasing him instead, so I can do all my stuff. But when we release that, and the way I'm going to release it, and that's what we're having a meeting coming in this weekend. Someone is coming up and see me, which is from China. The person is not Chinese, but they've been working with China for a long time, and they understand how they work, so they're going to kind of guide me with that. And yeah, the sky's the limit soon we got that thing figured out here, and we already got figured out, but soon we have that thing tested, and I feel comfortable we can start selling the stuff, because I mean, as we all know, as it goes down the road, the controller will probably be nicer, more compact, or something like this. Everything will be more nicer, but what I'm going to have in the thing will work, and it will work well. Now, how it's going to look like, it's all depends how you put it together, because it's going to come, all in pieces. You have to put all the pieces together, and they're not complicated to plug, because when I'm finished with it, you won't be able to plug at the wrong plug. That one plug goes with the female and the male will be one type of plug, and all the other wire will be another type of plug for each one. So no one, unless you cut the wire and you flip the plug around, is no one will be able to not be able to connect that, because all you have to do is the yellow with the yellow, the blue with the blue, the green with the green, the orange with the orange, the red with the red, and the white with the white, and the yellow. I mean, you can't get any stupider than that, okay? Even a chimpanzee would be able to do that if you give him a couple of bananas. So, what else? A lot of people's, I mean, I'm going through tons of email. What can I say about people? I mean, they're asking me like, help. Well, that's the best way I can help people, is developing this thing. I mean, I can't really sit personally after I get this thing launched, and we can actually fund a lab, so I can bring a few people at a time, and maybe half a dozen at a time, so we can go through a 30-day course. Then I will be able to do that. But right now, for me, it's not feasible to bring people in. Even people want to camp in my backyard, it's not feasible to do that, to try to teach people out. And it just, my place is too small. Okay, you put two people with me in my lab, and we over each other, we're bouncing over each other. So I can't do that. But it will be, to the point to people will be able to come and learn. But it's not that hard to learn. I tell you, when you sit, and if you just listen to what I say. I know my accent sometimes is kind of screw up and whatever, right? But just listen to what I said. And if you don't understand, play it back over. You can play it back harder. You're not going to wear out the tape. You don't have a tape, okay? It's digital. So you can play it back as many times you want till you get it. Just like the old school, right? Remember when they show you how to write and make your letter properly? Well, you didn't get it right the first time, you didn't get it right the third time, but after 300-400 times, man, you were pretty good to making that G, or you were pretty good to making that K, or that L, or that H, right? That's what you have to do. You have to, if you don't understand, stop, back it up, and re-listen that part back and forth, and then stop and think about it logically. That's the only way you will understand what I'm saying, if you think logically. If you think a function logically, you got them know what they tell you is false, because if you think it logically, it doesn't work that way. So therefore what they're telling you is a lie. And believe me, the day they start lying to you is very simple. Between church, school, and what do you call that, gathering and stuff like this, for the kid to gather and whatever, that's where you start lying to. If they would just tell you the truth, and true equal fact, that's mean if they tell you something, they better back it up with some facts. I have to back up everything with facts, so everybody else is going to be the same thing, right? Oh yeah, that's right. Now, on the state, they have two types of law. The law for the rich and the law for the poor. That's something to ponder on. So, anyway, so this is what I want to do. Like, it's going to be down the road, a fairly good, probably a year down the road before I can set up, and unless I find a place that's already built and I just do the inside, it will be very quick. If I have to build a building totally from scratch to build a lab, you're looking about a year and a half, maybe two. I mean, like, that's the way it goes. If I have to build it from scratch, if I have to go and get some land and put the lab on some land, that's what it's going to take. And there's nothing I can do about it, but at least you would have something to power your house, power your car, power your tractor, power your truck, or power whatever you want, your boat, your plane, your helicopter, your Jensen pack. There you go. You want a Jensen pack? Here's the power drive. I mean, like, it's about as close as it get, right? Actually, no, the Jensen pack I saw on YouTube, and that's the only thing I'm looking at, those propulsion system, because I like those little things. It's kind of a hobby for me to watch that. And yeah, that guy's got those jackpot. He strap his leg onto it, and that thing goes pretty good. So I would say this is pretty much the closest from the Jensen cartoon we used to watch when we were kids. But that's the update. I'm pretty pumped up, to receive the controller, because the number they gave us and the video they gave us a little video, but it's too bad it's all on Chinese. But the hyperdrive at 5,500 RPM is totally silent. You can't hear nothing. And I've been saying that. I said, if the thing, for the longest time, if the frequency, the volt, and the RPM, and the calculation of where the magnetic reaction to the magnet at certain RPM, where it's moving, because it's not there anymore, it's moving behind, it trails behind, we have no problem. Those guys knew that from the beginning. And when I tried to explain that to the engineer, they think I'm crazy. I said, when you spin that, I said, that north and that south, all the north and south, north and south, they actually overlap each other with rotation. And then if you hit that hard, then the reaction of the magnet past the magnet, they go the other way. It's just like jello almost. And that's how magnet works. You can stretch it. You can stretch the field of a magnet by rotation. If you spin those an outside magnet where the magnet face spin out on the outside, you spin it really fast, the reaction of the magnet suddenly I stretch it all up from my generator. I had the high speed generator with that in the state. I used to stretch the reaction of the magnet all the way up to about 10 to 15 feet at what I was spinning them. I was spinning at 11,000 RPM. Right? And people will probably say, how do you know that? Well, you take a tri-field meter and you start, the magnet is not moving, so you figure out how far it start reacting, right? So you don't have any reaction, that means that stop here, right? So when the magnet starts spinning a little bit, you get reaction, so you back up further, you get reaction, you don't. You spin the magnet faster, and it goes along further and further. Faster you spin the magnet, the reaction is faster and getting further away, because it's stretched like elastic. Just like elastic, you spin with a weight in the end of one end of the elastic. You spin faster, you spin longer, the elastic stretch. That's exactly how it worked for magnet. God, what else? What else I find out? Soon I finish that, I'm probably going to be working right away for because when I got the propulsion system work out and everything's working again, then I'll be able to move right away to build the test bench for priming up the nitrogen for vehicle. And I believe if everything goes good with that, I should be in full blast into that by the fall or late fall, maybe beginning of winter. And it's not a very big task. It's a very simple task, so I should be in the spring with results and showing you how it works to prime the nitrogen in the air, because as I tell, 80% of the air I breathe is an explosive. My body only uses very small amount of nitrogen coming up from the air, because we're more into the oxygen and a couple of other gas into it. But it's using, because nitrogen is the one who gives us the difference between being a fish. A fish, it doesn't breathe nitrogen, it only breathes oxygen extract the oxygen from the water and a couple of other gas, I believe. But they don't make bone. All their bone, you look at the bone, they're not bone, they're cartilage. Same thing with their teeth. Their teeth are not ivory, they're cartilage. Same thing as a shark tooth. A shark tooth is not ivory, it's cartilage, because they don't breathe air. Now if you have a whale, a dolphin, a beluga, a killer whale, a well, anything would have to come and surface to take air. They have calcium bone and their teeth is ivory. Shark have cartilage. My tooth I found is ivory. So it cannot be a fucking shark tooth in it. But we still don't know. We still can find out what type of animal that thing is. So just something to ponder with. What else? It's been a while. If people says 2 months, I didn't calculate because I was working and I was busy doing other things. So yeah, that's about it, I think. So here's the update, and we'll be talking, and I would say by when I receive the controller, and if I have a little nice, like when I'm going to test it first, right? I would just the controller and see the load and all that stuff, and then after that I'm going to loop it. Before I loop it, if it's nice, I'll shoot a little video, a little 15-minute video out there to show you how the generator is spinning, how much power it's putting out without the loop, and then after that I'm going to be looping it, and so then it will be ready to run on its own. And then again, I'm making my battery pack on the outside of my UPS, so when I start it I will disconnect the battery off, so that way you're not going to see it's no battery. It will be running all by itself after the start. After the original start, the battery gets disconnected, just to show you it run by itself. Simple as that, and it's got all the power it needs to hold the load. So yeah, so anyway, yeah, I'm primed right now, so at least I got some stuff. Too bad it was so late on the delivery and we have so much problem to get it out here. If anybody sends stuff to me from the States on my name, good luck. You might as well don't waste your time, because it's not going to get here. I mean, I have every single courier except FedEx. Every other single courier seem to be like my name is on the list, and is on a list of who's going to fuck me most with my package. So, but that's the way the world. But we're living in a world of stupid. And that's what I say. 60 to 80% of the population on this planet should literally be destroyed. And I'm not kidding. Matter of fact, I know a lot of people I think my numbers are low, because it's getting that bad out there. Just for a little, a little wake-up call. Go to the city and sit on a public street on a bench there and watch the life around you, and tell me if it's that much intelligence out there was worth keeping. And you will be very surprised. In the end of the day, you would have said just nuke the place. It's nothing there. That's how stupid and how crazy the world is. Just watching what's happening in Canada with our primary, or that stupid idiot Trudeau, and what's happening in the States, against Trump and stuff like this. I can't believe no one's in jail. I mean, like, if it's anybody would have did a fraction, a 1,000 of what Hillary Clinton did illegally, he should be hanged by his leg in a fucking cave in Texas underground fucking prison. But because those fucking politicians, they think they have absolutely immunity. Well, very sorry. The immunity should be all fucking totally removed. You fuck up by your own fault, you pay the fucking price, like everybody else. If I speed and I get caught, I pay the price, I get a ticket and I gotta pay the price. Right? If you do something wrong, you pay the price. You end up in jail, you always pay the price. The little guy always pay the price, but those motherfuckers up there never pay the fucking price. I think it's time for people to really make sure they pay the price. The good old laws that used to be in the old day, a toot and an eye, right? That's a lot of the land. For no reason, you fuck with my family. For no reason, I will kill your family. And it was barely no killing in those days, because everybody know where they stand. Today, the world is full with snowflakes. I have no time for snowflakes. Matter of fact, I don't care how much money a snowflakes are and how much money a snowflakes would offer me. If I find out there's a fucking snowflakes, I would fucking crush his head in the fucking doorways. Simple as that. I have no time. So if you're listening and you're so snowflake, get off my fucking channel. Because I will never help a snowflake. I mean, this is the most destructive human being on this planet is a snowflake. Because he doesn't care about shit beside me. Gave me all the time. So those are the snowflakes. Don't want to work and they want to have everything. So, but anyway, that's my little bitching of the day. I gotta put some in there. So there you go. That gives. Hopefully, I'll drop that tomorrow to my friend, and he'll be put up there before the end of the week, and or probably this weekend. And hopefully, people will be happy. Everything is going good, so it's no sense to be worried about it. I mean, I don't know why people get worried about my position and stuff like this. You know, I'm handling it. So all we have to do now is just kind of wait and see what we're going to get for the controller. I mean, like I said, now when you guys see the number, when I get on hand, a lot of people will not believe it. Matter of fact, most engineers will not believe it, what I'm pulling out of those things for that little currents. But the volt is high, but that's okay. Making high volt and sine wave is dirt cheap. It's like borscht, right? So that's it for my update. I already talked your ear off, and as you see, I'm not a robot. I'm not a clone. I'm the same old guy, and I'm not getting any younger. So if I have patience, believe me, you know, if I have patience, you have to have patience. I want this thing done just as much as you do. Sick and tired of paying for everything through the nose. The gas here is $1. You guys have it cheap in the States. You're whining about your gas. $1.44 here a liter, 3.8 liter in a gallon. No, time that 3.8 times. You will find out you guys, you have a gift on gas and food and stuff like this over there. So, I mean, like, you know, we are in the most expensive goddamn country in the world right now because the stupidity of a government. That's what socialist does. Now, for all Americans watching, look at Canada. That's exactly what socialist does. It works for a while, and then it gets in such a debt, because you have to understand the Canadian, the three times the amount of money in debt than the American. And people don't know that because most of the people here can't count past their toes. You know, they have no education when it comes to understand anything. They can write and read, but they have no education because they're writing and reading and they don't have a goddamn clue what they're writing and what they're reading. So that makes Bible an idiot. But that's going to change, hopefully. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to let you guys go. And it's getting late here. What time is it? Oh, it's 9 o'clock in the evening. So we'll be talking to you soon. Don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to finish this project. If it kills me or not, I'm going to finish up because we're very close. And I just want to see the face of people when that thing's turning and it's putting up that much power. Because now I get a few good companies that they want me to design drive, or they're getting pretty excited right now. Because nothing in this world have that much power. Nothing. I'm talking about nothing we have can put out as much power. Matter of fact, the American carrier, which is a nuclear power. A nuclear power is just steam. That's what it is. They run steam turbine to power the boat. And this is very powerful because they can create a lot of steam and a lot of pressure, right? I guarantee, not that a small one like this, but a 3 foot or a 1 meter diameter by 30 centimeter deep would outdo just about anything they have when it comes down to horsepower. So, and that's only bring it up to 1200 volts, which I will have controller at that voltage probably, I would say, in 6 months to 8 months from now, I'll be working probably in a 1000-volt controller output. So that's 325 volts per legs with a little bit of loss in it. So yeah, I mean, everybody's afraid with high volt. I'm not afraid. I've been hit with high volt for so many times now. It doesn't really bother me besides make me jump a little bit. So if everybody cross their finger, hopefully by the end of the month we'll be all having a beer and celebrate about it, because I think we passed the lump. We passed the non-return point on that thing, and we're very close to the fishing line, according to what we're getting from the factory. So finger crossed. All right, guys. You guys take care, and I will talk to you hopefully in 2 weeks from now. Good night.